Imagine a shadow so vast it swallows an entire field in an instant. There is no roar, no warning, just a sudden chilling silence as a creature with a wingspan of 11 meters drops from the clouds. In a single fluid motion, its spear-like beak snaps shut, and a creature the size of a horse vanishes into the gullet of a monster that stands eye to eye with a giraffe. This is not a scene from a fantasy novel. This was the terrifying reality of the late Cretaceous sky. Introduction. Among all the giants that have ever graced our planet, few challenge our understanding of physics and biology as much as Quetzalcoatlus northropi. Named after the Aztec feathered serpent god, this pterosaur represents the absolute pinnacle of evolution in flight. When the first fragments of its bones were discovered in Texas in the 1970s, scientists were skeptical. They asked a fundamental question: how could something so large ever leave the ground? For decades, Quetzalcoatlus was a mystery wrapped in fossilized bone. Today, through advanced biomechanical modeling and new fossil finds, we are finally beginning to understand how this flying titan lived, breathed, and hunted. It was a creature that defied the limits of the atmosphere, a living aircraft made of flesh, blood, and incredibly light bone. The ascent of a giant. To understand Quetzalcoatlus, one must first understand its scale. Standing on the ground, it reached heights of nearly 5 meters. Its neck was long and stiff, supported by elongated vertebrae that provided both strength and flexibility. Its beak was a massive, toothless tool of precision, capable of probing the earth or snapping up small dinosaurs. But the most striking feature were the wings. Unlike birds, which use feathers, or bats, which use skin stretched over 5 fingers, Quetzalcoatlus flew on a single, hyperextended fourth finger. This wing membrane was a sophisticated structural organ, filled with muscle fibers and blood vessels, allowing the creature to adjust its wing shape mid-flight. The greatest debate in paleontology was the takeoff. For a long time, researchers thought Quetzalcoatlus might have functioned like a giant albatross, needing a cliff or a long running start to catch the wind. However, recent studies suggest a far more explosive reality: the quadrupedal launch. Using its massive arm muscles and folding its wings into front legs, Quetzalcoatlus would vault itself into the air in a powerful pole vaulting motion. In less than a second, it could transition from a standing position to being airborne, clearing the ground with enough force to begin its majestic ascent. The silent predator. Once in the air, Quetzalcoatlus was a master of the thermals. Its flight was not characterized by heavy flapping, which would have exhausted its massive frame. Instead, it was an expert glider. Scientists compare its flight efficiency to modern sailplanes. Because of its specialized respiratory system, which involved air sacs throughout its body and even inside its hollow bones, it was incredibly light for its size. This lightness, combined with the immense surface area of its wings, allowed it to stay aloft for days, traveling across continents with minimal effort. Perhaps the most terrifying aspect of Quetzalcoatlus was its hunting strategy. Unlike other pterosaurs that dove for fish, evidence suggests Quetzalcoatlus was a terrestrial stalker. It would land in open floodplains and walk on all fours, using its height to spot prey from a distance. It was the ultimate death from above, but executed with the precision of a heron. It could move silently through the tall ferns, its shadow the only indicator of its presence, before striking with a speed that contradicted its size. For the smaller dinosaurs of the time, the sky was not a sanctuary. It was a source of constant looming dread. The peak of evolution. The engineering required to sustain such a creature is mind-boggling. The walls of its wing bones were often no thicker than a few millimeters, yet they were reinforced internally with a honeycomb-like structure that prevented buckling. Its brain was highly developed for balance and visual processing, necessary for navigating the complex air currents of a warming planet. Quetzalcoatlus was not a biological fluke. It was the end result of over 150 million years of pterosaur evolution. It pushed the boundaries of what was physically possible for a vertebrate, occupying a niche that has never been filled since its extinction. As we look at the skeletons of these giants today, we are reminded of the sheer diversity of life on Earth. Quetzalcoatlus reminds us that the rules of nature are flexible, and that given enough time, life will find a way to conquer even the most impossible barriers. It was a creature that turned the sky into its kingdom, and the Earth into its hunting ground. Conclusion. The reign of Quetzalcoatlus came to an end 66 million years ago, during the mass extinction event that claimed the dinosaurs. When the last of these giants fell from the sky, the world became a quieter, smaller place. We will never see its like again, a creature that bridged the gap between the earth and the heavens with such terrifying grace. Today, Quetzalcoatlus stands as a symbol of prehistoric wonder, a reminder that once, monsters really did fly above us, as tall as giraffes and as wide as airplanes, turning the clouds into a theater of awe and terror. To study Quetzalcoatlus is to study the limits of life itself, and to realize that sometimes the most incredible things in nature are the ones that actually happened.